Okay, today we're going to look at did God create the world in 6 literal days? And for this, we're going to start in Genesis chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 3 and 4, and this is what it says. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. Here the word evening in Hebrew, it means hereb, which means sunset or nighttime, when it gets dark, when the sun completely goes down. And then the Hebrew word for morning is boker, which means sunrise. So we see here that God started from sunrise and he finished on sunset. So God created from the time the sun was hot to the time the sun went down. So we see he did this for 6 literal days. And he created each day, he created something specific. Now, the question is, does somewhere else in the Bible agrees with that? So for that, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 20. In Exodus chapter 20, we're going to look at verses 8 through 11, and this is referring to the Sabbath. So we're going to see what God did in creation was an example for us how we should do here on earth. And then we're going to see what I'm talking about. So verse 8 says, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor." So remember this, a context here and referring to days, especially 6 days, the phrase 6 days in this whole context is literal. So the context is literal days, not symbolic. "You shall labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God, on which you must not do any work. Neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, or livestock, nor the foreigner within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and the sea and all that is in them. But on the 7th day he rested. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy." So you see here in the context that it starts by saying for humanity, look, 6 days you shall labor. But on the 7th day, rest, because, and then it shows you the example that God did for us when he created. So he purposely created God could have created the whole universe in 1 day or in 1 second, but he did it purposely in 6 days to give us an example, to illustrate how we should do it here on earth, meaning that in 6 literal days, we should work, and on the last day, we take it off. So just like God created in 6 literal days, and on the last day, God ceased from working, or he ceased from creating to show us what we should do. So here scripture is very clear that God created the whole universe in 6 literal days for mankind to see. And also the Sabbath, it just means when God rested. Not that he was tired, but that God ceased from creating, meaning that he finished creating everything he wanted to create. So God did it in that manner to give us an example. So we see here that scripture clearly illustrates that God created the universe in 6 literal days. Thank you for listening.